So we're all home on Christmas holiday break. So we're doing this through Zoom, so it's a little different than what the first three episodes. My cat is here. What did you think of that Ravens game, huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the Ravens lost as we all expected. The Eagles had a bye, and you guys play the football team, right? This week, the
Yep.
football
Yeah.
team.
The football team.
So yeah, Ravens play the Packers, and both the quarterbacks are having a little bit of a hi of a quarterback issue. Hurts has a you said high ankle sprain, Zach.
Yeah. They say he's day to day, week to week. It changes every day. But yeah, high ankle sprain.
That's what they're saying about Lamar Jackson. He's not high ankle sprain, but he's day to day. Uh, what you got something to say? Um, so yeah, so he's day to day, but Harbaugh says that he wants to win now, so he's probably gonna start Lamar Jackson barring some setback before the Packers game. So I guess did you guys watch the Ravens game at all?
Yeah, I watched a good portion of it at the beginning there. Um, I watched until Lamar went out, and then I kind of gave up on the game there a little bit. I mean, Hundley, I'll give him credit. He played a pretty good second half, brought it back, but I mean, I didn't watch much of the second half. As soon as I saw the score and realized that they were kind of making a little bit of a comeback there, it turned it back on, but not the full game, not from beginning to end, just kind of in between there.
Yeah, I was really proud of the way that they fought, and they at least seemed like they wanted to come back. They didn't just kind of lay down and say, "Oh, Lamar Jackson got hurt, we're done for." So I was really proud of that. I didn't think they were going to come back, but I saw Lamar Jackson go down, and I thought, "Oh, that's the end of the season right there."
Well, and that's what
And
you've been worried about since day
oh yeah,
one is something as simple as like just a turn. I mean, it wasn't that he got kind of clipped, like as he got taken down, it's just the way that he got hit. Um, I mean, it's something as simple as that. He's lucky that it was a sprained ankle and not, a torn ACL. He didn't step wrong, or a high ankle sprain, which a pretty decent one can take you out for, this rate the rest of the season. So, I mean, yeah, he lucked out big time there.
yeah. Thank goodness because I'm nothing against Tyler Huntley, but I don't know that we have a chance to do anything without Lamar Jackson.
He's a
Um,
backup for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but I think how ironic is it though that he got hurt on a passing play? How ironic is that?
Yeah, but he was also holding on to the ball.
Well, yeah, but
No,
there
the
was a
problem
tweet.
he's had for a while now.
Yeah, yeah. So, but there was a tweet during the game from some random Joe Schmo who must not have been watching the game. He goes, it was something like, this is what happens with running quarterbacks. And one of the journalists that was, is with the Ravens, like a Ravens journalist or whatever, she goes, I guess it doesn't matter that this was on a passing play, anything to preserve the narrative. But it was just like I never would have thought that he would get hurt on a passing play. I always thought it'd be running the football, but I think that he's definitely got to be more cautious, especially with an offensive line that can't protect him at all. Um, that
You're
was
also
just another
playing
instance of
against
that.
in that game. You're playing against the Browns' defensive line, which has been very good in the past few seasons. Miles Garrett, who is a playmaker in any way and will completely disrupt every offensive line. Now, I don't think he really had the biggest game, but he made sure that he was known on that field. And I mean, against that, you really can't expect offensive lines to stop him from coming in. It's the same thing when he played the Steelers and TJ Watt had a field day with that offensive line. I mean, it's week after week. You got Lamar back there getting the crap beat out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he hadn't gotten hurt yet.
Well, yeah.
Steven, what were your main takeaways from this Ravens game?
I mean, I didn't see much of it at all. I just kind of saw the updates, aka the memes of Lamar Jackson getting hurt and carted off. So I was like, oh well, tough crap for the Ravens at this point. They're already having a hard time as they are. So, but I saw the score. I saw they did keep it close. I like I said, I didn't see anything, so I didn't know how exactly anyone played. I did see Huntley's stat line. It didn't look like he played like absolute crap. He at least was able to show he was able to keep the teams in the game somewhat. But yeah,
Yeah, he definitely did keep the team in the game. Thank goodness, because we Ravens probably would have gotten blown out if it wasn't for him. And there was a stat right before the onside kick attempt. There was some stat like they hadn't recovered an onside kick since 2008, I think it was. And or I don't know, it's probably even longer than that. I don't know, but my dad was like, I don't think I've ever seen them get an onside kick before. And I said, watch, they'll get this one somehow. Just because the Ravens every game it's a wild comeback. And I said, well, I said, watch, they'll get this one and then they'll fail on offense, which is exactly what happened. But I mean, if the Ravens would have came back in that game, that would have been without a doubt this season. And I've said that's about a million times every game. Like, oh, that was the craziest comeback. But that one, without a doubt, would have taken the cake with the backup quarterback after an onside kick. After we were down like what 20 some to 10. I mean, they just had nothing going, and out of nowhere they came back. And I think if the Ravens, I mean, you look at their schedule, they've got the Packers this week, and I think I made a mistake on this. I flip flopped the Steelers and Bengals. They've got the Bengals the week after, and then the Rams, I think, and then the Steelers. That's a tough schedule. I mean, the Rams just beat the Cardinals the other night. The Steelers, like that's a rivalry game. It doesn't matter that they're really bad right now.
It's a very good team right now, and they're battling for first seed. I think are they tied with Cardinals and? See, I
think they're still a game out because Cardinals are 10-3, Rams are 9-4.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying Packers tied with.
Oh, Packers have top of the NFC because they beat the Cardinals. Yeah.
I think Cardinals will drop to third. I think
third, yeah. Buccaneers are second.
Whew. It's crazy how far you can. Not to veer off topic there, but you were talking about the onside kick. I think there was 4 onside kicks
on Sunday last week. Yeah, that's right.
Which is insane. I think they said there's 4 this season so far, and then you have 4 more in one weekend, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think I heard that on the Monday night game. They were talking about it when the Cardinals were attempting one, I think.
Yeah. And I think they got it as well.
I think they did, but it wasn't. Was there a penalty? I don't know if there was a penalty. I think something happened. Oh no, Cardinals did get it because then Murray got sacked on the last game, the last play of the game. That's right.
By Donald.
Yeah, who we were talking about him all year. Hasn't been having such a good year, and he had a really good game against the Cardinals.
And that's the other thing. I think the Rams, and I'm talking this stuff because obviously there's nothing really to talk about Eagles right now to figure out kind of here. Rams are. I said at the beginning of the season, I'm saying they're dangerous when they play well, and I think it almost relies on Stafford because when he has an off game, they all do. It seems that the whole team falls back. And when he has a good game like he just did, they are, I would say, unbeatable. I mean, their defense might not be the best that it used to be, but it'll stop any offense. And their offense, when it clicks, it's good. I mean, the weapons on that team are insane. And it's starting to look like Odell maybe was not the problem in Cleveland. It very well may be. I mean, he's having a very good season right now in LA. But whether circumstances or not, I couldn't tell you, but he's not getting overthrown.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just remember that Sean McVay took Jared Goff to the Super Bowl. All right. So maybe
he very well may have told Odell that you ever want to get the ball in the end zone, you're going to run the route I tell you to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, looking at the Ravens schedule, it's tough. It's very difficult. And, there's
a chance you could lose out.
Yeah. And I mean, other than the Steelers game, it's a very real possibility. It's not, oh, you could. It's, well, you might actually lose out if you don't get it together.
Steelers beat once.
So, I mean, they got to, that's right, Packers this week, then Bengals and Rams and Steelers. So, and after that Browns game, I think even the Browns are close to the first place in the division. I think they're like a game out or something.
And Bengals
lost. So Ravens lost last week. Ravens are still top of the division somehow.
But Bengals are right behind it. They're not too far. And they're a team that wiped the board. Actually, Bengals might have the upper hand, do they? If you guys lose next week and they win.
Yeah, if we lose next week and they win, then they would be top of the division. But we're still top because they lost last week.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a tough schedule, and I think that if the Ravens and I've said this before, they cannot rely on the heroic comebacks every week to win these games. It's one thing to do it against the Colts or the Lions, but you're not going to do that against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. It's just not going to happen.
The Packers have one of the better defenses right now. They're inconsistent, but they're good. You're not going to come back on that. That's if you even start off at all. Now, they don't do very well against mobile quarterbacks. They've shown that this year. But, we'll see. I'm not very hopeful in that game at all.
And I'm not sure if the Eagles are having any COVID issues. I know the Ravens aren't, which is really miraculous considering they just played the Browns, who I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know who doesn't have COVID on the Browns right now.
Yeah, Baker's got it. Isn't he now with it?
Baker's got it. The head coach has got it. Jarvis Landry's got it. Higgins has it. A lot of their guys on defense has it. I mean, I don't know that they have a team for Saturday.
Yes, I mean, they have nobody. And then you kind of feel for them on that one because they're getting screwed out of a win right there because they don't have any of their starters.
I don't feel bad for them. Their fans were cheering and throwing stuff at Lamar Jackson as he exited the game on the cart. I don't feel bad for them at all.
Well, not as well. They're also in a divisional team, but I mean, from the aspect of like you're ruining the chance for them to have any chance to win. By you, I mean COVID. But you feel for some of the players. Oh, yeah, Eagles. Isn't it Stephen? Kes Watkins has it.
I don't know. I know Washington has an outbreak.
Yeah, they're almost their entire defensive line.
Yeah, they have 7. I saw on the news today 17 players.
Jesus.
On protocol.
Yeah, because there's like a handful of teams that are in the quote enhanced protocols, which I don't know what that means, but it's like I think the Rams, Browns, Washington, and 2 other teams I think are in the enhanced protocols. But yeah, so I don't know.
Because I saw in the offseason, if you had a certain amount of players that you really couldn't field a team, it's a forfeit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to change that now because there's a handful of teams. I don't know if they're going to do that, but
what are they going to do when they get the playoffs?
Exactly. Well, actually, they have some sort of I guess attempt to fix that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but today they announced that they're going to have unlimited practice squad like transactions in the playoffs. So I don't know if that's somehow an attempt to fix it, but I seriously doubt that they're going to let guys forfeit.
Good luck.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to have them forfeit a game in the playoffs.
Because that would be unfair. I mean, that wouldn't make sense.
They wouldn't make money off of that.
No. I was just about to say, that's what I was going to say, Steven. The money that they would lose on a forfeited playoff game is insane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll see how it goes from the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're going to the game. Forgot about that.
You better be a good luck charm, Steven, because we need to win this game.
Yeah, we do.
Win this game out of the playoffs, basically. I mean, there's still a slim chance, but it's not much.
It's a crucial game.
Yes. We have to beat Washington both times. If we lose, if we split, if we win one, they win one. I want to say it's Saints that's the win.
Well, there's a lot of teams right now that are within that last spot. It's Saints, Falcons. I think Panthers are somehow still in it. And then it's you guys and Washington.
Washington has the spot right now.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have clinched it. If we can beat them both times, they're out, and we take that spot for them. But we also, I think we're able to lose one game, so we need to beat Giants, Washington both times, and that's a given. And then we'd be able to lose to Dallas. I don't think we could beat Dallas.
And before we look at the games for next week, I want to go back to the Ravens game just for a little bit. First off, the officiating was some of the worst officiating I've ever seen in my life. It was that bad. There were pass interference penalties that I watched it over 10 times and I still didn't see it. And the Ravens, it was most of the time. It was just I'm speechless as to how bad it was. There was times where the guy, there was one play where I think it was on Chris Westry, his name was. There was an interference penalty on him, and the guy Westry, I swear to God, did not even touch the wide receiver. Didn't even touch him. And if he did touch him, it was like he laid his fingernail on him, and that was it. And he got flagged for it. And there was one where literally I think it was Landry, I think. It was Landry or Peoples-Jones who literally pushed off on our guy.
Yes.
And it was on us. The interference was on us. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like,
I'm not a ref, but I always thought that the way that it had to be is if you had an open hand, it was holding. But if you had a closed fist, or maybe I'm switching that. There's a closed fist that's holding. No, I don't know. Either way. And I feel like there's no consistency in the calls this year. Like they're all over the place. Like some refs call for one thing, some refs call for another. Some really know the rule book and are really good, or are really bad because of calling for literally every play or every penalty possible. Or you have those there's obvious ones like you had said about the penalty of if they called it for defensive pass interference when it should have been offensive. The reffing is it's bad, like horrible this year, and it's been media attention is all over that. But yeah, The referees are horrible.
And I think we were called for 4 defensive pass interfering penalties in like one quarter, and like not even 1 quarter. It was like 1/2 of a quarter. Like it was or something like that. In like a pretty short span of time, we were called for a lot of pass interference penalties, and half of them like wasn't even interference. Like it was just ridiculous. And I mean, there were other penalties where we were getting flagged for holding every other play, and the Browns were just able to hold us all they wanted to. I mean, it was just. I'm not saying that was the reason they lost, obviously, but that didn't help. It was
commentators getting fed up with it. There was I forget what game it was. They were kicking off, and there was a penalty on like every kickoff of the game, and the commentators like, okay, this is getting old.
It's probably Al Michaels. I think I know you're talking about. He was like, oh, and what else is new? There's a flag on the play.
Yes, and he's like, can we just play football? Like it's absurd. What happened when you could hold every once in a while? You could get a little bit more aggressive in the outfield, like. Or in the backfield, like come on, like let's get back to old school football where it's a violent sport. We're not out there playing patty cake with each other. Just let them play. There's going to be if it's an obvious hold, and like the guy's grabbing his jersey and yanking him back. Okay, call it. What if it's a little bit of hand grabbing and they're going at it? Let it go. Like let's just enjoy the game. Like let the fans sit here and watch and not have to make what should be a 2.5, 3-hour game turn into like 4 hours because they have to stop the clock every 30 seconds for some stupid penalty. Even the holding calls are just every other one. If it's a guy that was ready to break through and he's right there and he got held, sure. But if the quarterback's 5 yards that way and they're getting held over here, I'm sorry. But a 300-pound lineman is not going to run faster than Patrick Mahomes running up the field 20 yards. Like, there's so many calls that just make no sense. Like, I wish refs would just take a step back. Take a seat.
And Steven, I think you had said this, and I think it was NFL you're talking about. And my dad said it when we were watching the Browns game. He goes, the NFL has gotten incredibly soft. And I think you had said that before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And like you said, Zach, it's like holding on every other play. And I get it. If you want to call everything you see out there, call it for both teams. But this was Ravens, I think. I mean, I think the game got into the third quarter before the Browns were flagged for anything, I think. Or maybe they had one penalty in the first half or something. It was just ridiculous.
They're probably at Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb on their fantasy.
I don't know what was going on. But the Browns had some of the most, just puzzling play calling I've ever seen in that game. This is the second thing I wanted to get to before we look ahead. Is they have, and I mentioned this when we were talking about the first Browns-Ravens game, they've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, two of the better running backs in the country, in the league.
Well, they have the best running back locker room you'll find.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And they've got Baker Mayfield, who has an injury in about every body part that exists. And they had him throw way more times than they needed to. And the thing is like the Ravens couldn't stop the run most of the time. And
they did pretty well, though. First half, well, at least the first quarter, I think you stopped them about 4 yards for quite a while there. Like each one had like 3 or 4 yards. I mean, you guys stopped them for quite a while.
And we had them, we stopped a few of the running plays, but not enough to where you just throw the run game out the window.
Yes.
And they had Baker Mayfield throwing so many times. I just didn't get it. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, they won, so who knows? I guess they knew something that I didn't, but I don't know. It was just puzzling. So, guys, Steven, you're going to be at the game, Washington and Philadelphia. Eagles coming off of the bye. So, what are you guys looking for in this game?
I'm looking to see a fresh team with obviously a few players that have been battling some ouchies the past few weeks. Hopefully the bye week they're able to freshen all up. So I'm hoping to see for the most part, complete team out there this game. And I hope they are able to take advantage of a shorthanded Washington team.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Washington, as you said, shorthanded. They've got not only Chase Young is injured and a few other injuries, but the COVID, as we had talked about earlier. They are, without a doubt, shorthanded. And for the Eagles, this is a game that is a must-win game. I think if you lose this one, I'm not saying it's over, but it's close. Yeah, well, yeah, for both teams, of course. But I think
coming in with the same mindset that we have, that win and playoffs are a possibility. Lose, and that's basically it. I think if either team wins, it's over 50% likelihood of going in. I know Eagles, it's like a 52, and a loss, it drops to like 28%. So for
And
both
I don't know
teams.
what it is, but I feel like if Washington loses this game, there's still like a sliver of hope that they get in. And I feel like, and I don't know what it is, but I think if Eagles lose, I feel like there's almost no way.
Washington, I believe, would have to lose out, and Eagles would have to win out the rest of the season. And then there's a couple things that have to happen, and it's not going to happen.
And yeah, I don't know where you guys stand on this, but I feel like Eagles lose, I'm like, okay, they're almost definitely going to not.
We don't
make
deserve
playoffs.
it if we lose.
Washington loses, I feel like there's still some sliver of hope that they get in. I don't know why that is, but it's just I don't know. That's just how I'm feeling about the whole thing. But
Washington also has a better record, so that's part of it. And then on top of that, their schedule is the same as ours. The rest of the season is just interconference teams, but I think they also have a better chance against like a team like the Cowboys, where you need a very good defense to stop that. Eagles have a very good secondary right now, but our linebackers and our defensive line are not doing great. So looking at it that way, like last time we played the Cowboys, Pollard and Zeke just absolutely manhandled us. So I think Washington, defensively speaking, has a better chance, and their offense isn't great, but it's consistent.
And so you said Hurts is questionable.
Yeah, Minshew and Hurts were splitting first team reps all practice. So now part of that, I think it's just because they're not entirely sure on Hurts's ability to play this weekend. They don't want to risk it. I also think, like I said earlier, that that Minshew had a very, very good game, and they want to see what they can do with that. If that means maybe throwing Minshew in every once in a while and alternating them here and there to confuse the defense a little bit, okay, then. But the only thing is we're gonna pass. But either way, it could just be from the aspect of, like I said, Hurts isn't the healthiest right now. He could be going out, he could play for a quarter and then just not be able to do it anymore. He's not mobile. He's not running around, because that's where he makes his money. He doesn't have the best arm. He's a mobile quarterback. If he can't run, there's no really point keeping him out there. So if they notice that his ability to be mobile is down, I could picture them putting Minshew in. Not from the aspect that he's doing well, just because we need to win the game.
Looking at the Packers-Ravens game, guys, what are you kind of looking for heading into the game, other than whether Lamar Jackson starts or not?
Defense. Your Ravens defense is going to be tested. Obviously, you don't have Humphrey now. Your defense is a little bit banged up here and there. And there's been some games they've shown up really well. There's been some games where they kind of just stayed in the locker room, it seems. So I think it'll be a big testament to see there. Aaron Rodgers has been, ever since week 1, when they got absolutely manhandled, they have been on just vengeance. And obviously they've been beat, but it's been brutal. So I think the biggest testament for you, the biggest thing for you guys to look out for will be defense. Your offense, it depends on Lamar and everything, but ignoring that, I think your defense will be the most exciting part to see about this game. If you can stop Aaron Rodgers, not stop, but slow Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, contain him a little bit.
Exactly.
I just thought about this as we were talking about offensive weapons and defense. Can we stop Aaron Rodgers? It is, and I harp on Greg Roman a lot every week, and we've reached that part of the show. It is laughable, the weapons that we have, and yet week after week we are one of the more stagnant offenses in the league. We've got Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, who I'm not a huge fan of, but he's good enough to throw him the ball every once in a while. He had like 40 yards last week. Ridiculous.
Yeah. He's improved tremendously this season. He knows how to catch now.
Yeah. Devontae Freeman, who's he's gotten a little bit better. He looked pretty good in the Browns game compared to what I'm used to this year. I mean, the Ravens, combine that with Lamar Jackson, who, sure, he's going to be hurt or whatever, but
he's still a playmaker.
Yeah, we have a lot of playmakers on this team, and for us to come out flat on the beginning of every game, it happened last week, it happened the week before that, and the week before that, and I mean, you get it. For the Ravens to come out flat on the first quarter of every game is just ridiculous, and it all goes back to the guy calling the plays, Greg Roman. He has the most, and Zach, you have talked about it, and Steven, you said, he needs to be a little bit less part of the team, which is true. He is the most predictable offensive coordinator in the league, and it is ridiculous. You put those weapons on any other team with any other coordinator, take those weapons and give them to Sean McVay, it's over. You know what I mean?
Well, you're not using the weapons to the best of their ability. You're throwing Devontae Freeman in the backfield or you're running him back behind Lamar. You're not using them when you have a guy like Marquise Brown is Hollywood Brown is fast. Use that.
And Duvernay too.
Having him run a short slant route, or Duvernay, who's got very good hands and shows that he can be fast and evade here and there. Use that. Like, it doesn't make sense. You're running Mark Andrews on these deep routes when he's not going to be fast. Like, he's your top receiver because he can get open because he has his own skill. Well, make sure you can really do that. Your tight ends run best on slant routes because they can get open to about 10, 15 yards in the midfield, and then you pass them the ball. And they're open, they can get another 5, 10 yards after that. He's running them on the outside all the time. Mark Andrews is running into coverage. He's not going to get open as often against a linebacker that's half his size and a lot faster, or a corner who's maybe a little bit shorter but twice his speed. Like, it doesn't make sense. You need to create matchups that are going to work. Like, the play calling, like you said, it's predictable, and it's stupid. Like, he's not using his weapons to the right ability. He's using them, but it makes no sense as to why.
And I feel like most of the time when the Ravens move the ball down the field, and I know what you guys think of this, I feel like most of the time they get a huge play and you're like, wow, that was kind of lucky, right?
Oh, yeah. But it's slow. It takes them forever to get down the field. It's never like first down after first down. It's first down, and then it's third down, and then it's first down, and you just get it, and then it's, like you said, you get a big play, and then it's back to third down, and then next thing you know, it's 4th and 2, and you're running up real quick, you get first down. It just takes forever. There's no momentum that's carried. It's just like, okay, yeah, let's see how long it takes us to get a first. Like, it just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody's in a rush to get down that field.
Yeah, there's no sense of urgency. And, my mom of all people said that. And she's not like, God bless her heart, she's not one of the, she's not knowing, doesn't know everything there is to know about football. But when my mom says they have no sense of urgency, it's a glaring issue. No disrespect to her, but I mean, when she sits down and she's, I don't know, she's kind of half paying attention to the game, she notices it's a problem.
It's almost like nobody really cares to be there. Win or lose, they're like, whatever, we're getting paid. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody's in it for, the team. Like, nobody's like, gosh darn it, we're the Baltimore Ravens. Let's go out there and let's show these people. It's like, at the end of the day, I'm going to get a paycheck, whatever. Let's see what we can do. It's a me kind of sport. Mark Andrews seems like he's always there for it. He wants to win. He wants a team win. Like, he's there. Lamar, I would say, is another guy that wants, but when he doesn't have anybody else doing it for him, because he takes responsibility for everything. Any problems there is, he takes it. But I don't know.
Sammy Watkins is always hurt. Sammy Watkins picked up a water bottle and he's somehow hurt all the time. It's frustrating because nobody cares.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why last week I said I don't care about the Ravens anymore. And I don't know that I necessarily said this, but I said, just inside my head, I was saying, what, these guys don't care, as you said, Zach. So why should I? So I guess unless you guys have anything else to add, I guess we'll predict the scores. Steven, we'll start with you. I think this is gonna be fun. We'll start with actually, you pick which one you want to start with.
I'll start with the Ravens game.
Okay.
And with the momentums on both teams recently, I don't see it so favorable towards the Ravens.
Really?
As you said, it's a pretty stagnant team, and I just don't see that a stagnant level of play holding up against a team like the Packers, who are a better team at moving the ball through the air. So, yeah, I see I don't see Aaron Rodgers having a problem airing out the ball this game against the Ravens' struggling defense. So as a result, I'm going to go with the Packers 32-13.
All right, that's fair. I'm saying they're going to score more than that. I'm going to say, well, 38's fair. 38-30. You said 38-13?
32-13.
32-13. Okay, all right. Yeah, so I'm going to say Packers are going to I think they're going to score more than 35. And I think the Ravens are going to score not as much. So I'm going to say the Packers, I don't know. I'm feeling like the Packers are going to score 42. So they're going to win 42-24.
So I like what Steven's saying with the coming out, strong and whatnot. I think Ravens going to come out kind of rusty, kind of beat up, and they're going to take a little bit to get that momentum. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, they're going to come out hot, ready to go, and ready to just demoralize you. And they're going to get started early and just not stop. You guys have a very good defensive line, and you can stop the run, but you can't really stop too much in the air. Your secondary is, I believe, they're actually one of the worst in the NFL right now.
Yeah, because it's our third stringers.
Well, yeah. So I like the idea of the 30s. I'm going to say 31. Yeah, I'm going to go random there. I'm going to say 31, but I think Ravens are going to struggle big time offensively, and they're going to go 31-17.
And how about the football team against the Eagles?
All right. Well, I'm optimistic that this Eagles game I'm going to will have a positive result. I think the Eagles will see it as an advantage of playing against a shorthanded Washington team as they're coming out of a bye week fresh. So I think this will be another game where if they can get the run game going on offense, they won't have a problem scoring some touchdowns. So I'm going to take the Eagles 28-17.
See, I think 48 hours ago, I was taking Washington. Now that they are absolutely decimated with the COVID, and this is the whole thing about COVID, is that now I have no idea who's playing for these teams, not just Washington, but all these other teams. I have no idea who's healthy. I don't know who's playing, who's not. I have no idea, what's going on, because you never know. There was for the Rams game on Monday Night Football. They didn't even know. I mean, it was 2 hours before the game that they said they were told that they didn't have Jalen Ramsey. So you really don't have a clue anymore. And who knows? There could be tomorrow. There could be a COVID outbreak with the Eagles. So it's just I have no clue. But anyway, 24 or 48 hours ago, I was taking Washington. Now with all these issues with COVID and everything, and with it being at Philadelphia, I'm gonna bend backwards here. I'm gonna take the Eagles. But it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than. I mean, I think the spread yesterday this morning it was like Philadelphia -7. I think it's going to be way closer than 7 points. I don't see them covering a 7-point spread. I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win 28-24.
So Eagles have struggled big time at home this year. We've only won one game at home. I think it's one game, either one or two, but I'm pretty sure it's one. So based on that, and Washington is short on defense right now, but Eagles are also having an issue on who's going to be quarterback. We don't know yet if Hurts is going to be playing, if Minshew is going to be playing, and that then turns over when it comes to practice time, where you have Minshew, who's a pass-first quarterback, and you have Hurts, who has kind of been more of a run-first quarterback. When you put Minshew in, the trick plays kind of go out the window. You're not going to run him up the middle. You're not going to run on the outside. It's not going to happen. So based on that, I think our offense is going to struggle a little bit. We're coming off the bye week. Guys are supposed to be healthier. Jason Kelce, Jordan Howard is supposedly coming back. And then I forget who the other person was in and out. But Kelce's a big one. And Jordan Howard has been a power back that we have utilized. And when we didn't have him, we really missed him. So if we get a run game going, I think we can pull out a win, especially with the decimated defense for Washington. I'm going to say that it's still going to be low scoring, though. I'm going to say 17-14 Eagles. It's going to come down to Jake Elliott and a field goal.
And one more thing before we close out, I think, and I don't know what you guys think on this, but I think just from what I've seen from the Eagles, I think they are somewhat similar to the Ravens in the aspect that if they come out on the first drive of the game or the first quarter, whatever it is, first few drives of the game, and they struggle, they are in for a long game.
Yes.
I think if they come out and they score, things are going well.
Eagles need momentum immediately or they're never going to get it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the key. If the Eagles come out, doing well and they're coming out hot on offense and they score on the first drive, it's looking good. If they don't, I think that's a reason to be concerned, and I think that could be bad.
We haven't had many games where we've come back second half.
Yeah,
there was a few that hurt. He was able to kind of fight back and get some garbage time stats and either win us the game or get it close. But I mean, I don't see that happening against a Washington defense. So even though it's hurt with injuries, with Chase Young and everything as well as COVID, their backups are still very decent backups. If they were on the Eagles, they'd be starters. A lot of those guys. So I mean, we'll see. I'm also curious on Kerrigan. It's his old team. Maybe he'll go out there and have a fun day with them. But I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of question marks on this game. And the bye week is either going to be a very good thing for us or a downfall.
Yeah, for sure. So, Steven, be safe when you go to the game on Sunday. Philly's a rough place, so be safe. Hope you enjoy the game.
Beers involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if the Eagles lose, I'm blaming you.
Okay.
So yeah, be safe going to the game, and hopefully the Ravens pull out an upset win. We don't seem to be so confident in their chances, and the Eagles is a huge game for them, so they need to win this to keep their playoff chances alive. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll be back next week. See you next time.